Hello and welcome back to Small Room Audio. Today we're in for a treat and I am really excited, I really am, because this is the Neat Petite 30th Anniversary Edition speaker. And I'm going to rave and rant about this one because I've had such a fun time reviewing it, and frankly I do not want to give it back. Why then is that the case? Well, we'll get to it. Let's have a little look at this first of all. It is quite a small speaker. It's in a lovely special edition black gloss finish, which is very nice. It does pick up a few fingerprints, and you know, you have to make sure you polish it if you are going to have one and not touch it too much, but if you move it around you will find it's annoyingly fingerprinty. At the top here we have an AMT air motion tweeter, which is fantastic. You've got kind of like a slight surround here to take some of the reflections away and downwards onto the woofer, which is only a baby little 15cm woofer. Size-wise, you might look at it here and think, oh, well, it looks like a normal size bookshelf speaker. But if I turn it to the side, it's really narrow. This thing's tiny and it's light. It's not crazy weight at all. So, you know, it's already starting to feel a little bit different. Going round to the back, the difference continues. You can bi-wire it here if you want to. If not, it's got the bars in between. I didn't need to bi-wire it. I just use it as is and it sounded brilliant. Up here, we have two ports. Blow your mind. Well, look, one of the ports comes with the bung already in, and that is the preferred way of listening. One with the bung, one that's open. And I didn't muck around and try and take the bung out because it just sounded great. Don't mess with something that is already tuned to perfection. Down here you've got the signature from Bob Surgener, the main man at Neat, and he signed off each of the special edition Petite 30s. He's listened to them himself to make sure that they sound great, and they really do. So what is the Neat Petite? What's the history? Well, 30 years ago, I was only 9 years old. I think I was more into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles than I was into hi-fi. In fact, I definitely didn't really know much about it back then. But Bob and the team, when they owned a hi-fi shop, they actually designed the original Neat Petite to be something they sold in their shop, but then took it to a hi-fi show. People loved it. It was amazing. I saw some descriptions online for the original Neat Petite as the Jack Russell of bookshelf speakers. Don't know, never heard the original, but I have heard this, and this is not a Jack Russell at all. This for me would be a very intelligent, wonderfully groomed poodle, if anything, or maybe a Dachshund. Maybe I should say a lovely Dachshund, as I own one. Why then would you want to get this? Well, it's £2,500. In the box you get a special edition booklet. You also get a folder which includes a USB stick with some of Bob Surgener's music dating back to the 60s, which I thought was a lovely touch. It's so personal. It's so sort of, you know, so sort of real. It's not just a big company saying, here's our speaker, we gave it a nice finish, away you go, it's the same as all the others. No, no, no. There's only 100 of these that you can buy. It's that exclusive, and it's absolutely amazing. Let's talk about the sound. Let's get to the main event then. So we know it's small and it's relatively easy to position depending on where you want to put it, which is great. I put it onto the stands with a tiny bit of toe in, but not very much. So mainly, you know, facing sort of out a little bit, not directly at my ears, although it does work nicely directly at your ears as well. It's quite easy to work with, which is a relief. And when you're listening to this, it doesn't sound like a tweeter and a woofer. It sounds like a point source. And it images like a point source as well. It is stunningly well designed. It's beautifully integrated. And when you first switch it on and listen to it, even when you're breaking it in, you know the quality's there. It is astounding. So let's go from the top to the bottom. We'll talk more about soundstage and imaging as well. This AMT tweeter is so delicate. It's like just gently gives you the details, but it gives you all the details, and it extends high up. However, I wouldn't say that it's particularly obtrusive. It's such a refined sound at the top here, and it's really rather lovely to listen to. But it reminded me a little bit of how you can have a LS35A, so you can sit quite close to it in midfield or even near field, and it doesn't murder your ears, but you do feel like you've got the full extension of the music. It's not like listening to a you know, big stereotypical, but like a Focal or a B&W speaker. This is very nice up close. It's almost like the treble energy has been taken down a little bit, but it's all there. It's not rolled off. To me, at my ears, it isn't anyway. It's just delicate, precise, detailed, and lovely. If anything negative to say about it, and I don't, for me, think it's negative, it sounds slightly like it beautifies music a little bit, just a little bit. You know, again, in a sort of slight LS35A kind of way. Moving down to the mid-range, vocals. You might remember, if you follow this channel, that I talked about the Dynaudio Heritage Specials, another limited edition speaker which had amazing mid-range and vocals. The vocals on this are almost as good as that. I mean, the vocals are insanely good from this proprietary 15cm woofer. Wow. Okay, so you've got this mid-range where you've got tons of detail, tons of emotion. It really does carry the sort of palpability and expressive-ness of music. I said I was going to rant and rave about this because it is that good. For £2,500, you're getting mid-range, which is almost, you know, sort of 90% of what you can get from a £5,500 speaker, which is the Dynaudio Heritage Special. In fact, this kind of felt like a small version of the Heritage Special, but in many ways it was almost easier to listen to across a broad range of equipment because of that slightly more beautifying, slightly less transparent top end. Let's talk about bass. So in the bass, like pretty much every Neat speaker that I've heard, it carries the beat. You've got a slight mid bass hump, but it's good, it's really well done. You don't feel like it's artificial. It's the illusion of a deeper bass than is actually in the box. And the sound from this little thing is much, much bigger. Again, a Neat Acoustics kind of sort of trademark, if you like, or sort of, it's something they do exceptionally well, is make small boxes sound much larger. The imaging and the soundstage, therefore, stretches very far beyond the speaker. Yet it is extremely accurate. The center image is great. There's really nice height. The width and the depth, it's just superb. Again, eliciting the thoughts of an LS35A. But unlike an LS35A, this is dynamic. It isn't particularly sensitive as a speaker. I think it's 86 dB, but I will check that and put it up in the review above me if I'm wrong. But you don't need really tons and tons of power to run it. Now, I did put this in 3 different systems, and I'll talk about how they compared alongside that Dynaudio Heritage Special, which is £3,000 more expensive than this, and it's a speaker I've got in-house to compare it to this directly. So that's what I'm going to use. Not really a competitor in a way, because it is £3,000 more, but because they came so close, I thought it was a good way to sort of show you how the two scale and how they're different. So first of all, I did put my sort of more budget system into this, which is a DAC 32 streamer and DAC directly into a power amp, which was the Atoll MA100. That sounded okay with both of those speakers. Actually, it sounded not that great with the Dynaudio Heritage Special. The transparency of that really kind of showed the sort of downsides of that setup. But with the Triangle Borea Bro 2s, that sort of setup sounded pretty good and suitable for that level of speaker. With this one, it sounded all right. It sounded pretty good. I mean, you still get the gist of it, nice imaging, nice soundstage, nice sound, but you just felt like it needed higher level equipment to really get going. So that's when I brought in the Atoll MS120 streamer, and things really started to get going then. But still, I felt like it needed a bit more oomph, a bit more power. That sensitivity of the speaker just needed to wallop along. So I brought in the NAD, or NAD, sorry for those that don't like me saying NAD, NAD, Purifi amplifier, the 298, with the Atoll streamer, and Nirvana was starting to arrive. And in fact, in that combination, with that amount of power, you had such good control, such good rhythm and timing from this little speaker. And I preferred listening to that combo with this than I did the Dynaudio Heritage Special. Why? Well, I think it's because the way it deals with that sort of upper end treble sound and that slight kind of beautification and reduction in treble energy when you're sitting close to it. This channel is called small room audio. Most of us in a small room will be sitting closer to the speaker than you would in a large room. So actually having a slight reduction in that energy and that attack is quite nice, particularly when you've got, well, I wouldn't say middle of the road equipment, because of course this combination is, you know, going towards £3,000 plus the speakers, which means a £5,000 system. That is by no means a joke. It's a lot of money, but you have to jump a long way up to the likes of the system I run with the Dynaudio Heritage Special, which costs a lot of money. We have in that one a Mola Tambaqui DAC. We have a £6,000 Synthesis A50 Taurus amplifier. We've got a £1,800 streamer, and we've also got the Phoenix USB running from the optical Rendu streamer. It's an enormously expensive front end to get the best out of the Dynaudio Heritage Special. With this, you don't need all of that to get a special sound. Of course, if you stuck all of that, which I did, into this speaker, you get an amazing experience as well. It's just you don't get the same transparency or ultimate bass depth or quite that level of speed as you get with the Dynaudio Heritage Special, but you have to spend a lot of money to prefer the Dynaudio to this, which makes this a fantastic option for anyone that wants to get that sense of mid-range magic with an LS35A kind of presentation, but with the dynamics and the drive and the excitement that Neat bring to the party. You can boogie with this, you can relax with this, you can drift off to a different place with this. It is so versatile and absolutely bloody brilliant. Oh, I said it would be a rant, and it was. This has been the review for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please like and subscribe because it helps us out a lot, and we'll see you back here very soon.